Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another live stream of Hearthstone. And today is Monday, February 26th, starting about 15 minutes late because somebody turned on Star Wars Episode 1 on my TV, and that movie is like flypaper to a critic because it's so bad, at least to me. Like, I could and did rant against it for 15 minutes before I finally walked out of the room and said, you know what, I should be streaming. Critics' worst choice there. Two things to criticize at the same time that you have almost equal passion for. Let's see. We only really need to get two things done, so if we win 5 games with a major shaman and play 10 secret, those things are pretty contradictory, but we'll see if maybe we can do this. We could play a secret beast deck and play ranked wild and start with that, and then we can move on. So where to start? I thought I had beaten the Assassin's Creed Revelations, which would have been a really good thing because it's taken me a very long time to get to the point where I finished the main game. It's really honestly didn't seem like it's worth playing at all, which kind of sucks because just as I was wrapping up, I tend to have overly long episodes at the end as I'm wrapping up my thoughts and having thoughts. Also, in the last episode I went on a rant that generally I don't rant inside of pre-recorded footage, but just a rant on how particularly Assassin's Creed Revelations is arbitrarily violent and has blood added when it probably could do like movies do and they get PG-13s even though thousands of people are shot and killed just by not showing any blood, not seeing anybody have any bullet wounds or anything. So as long as you just shoot the person and then they fall down and there's no blood, you can get a PG-13 for almost an infinite amount of violence. And I kind of think it would help the video game industry to adopt a policy somewhat similar to that. There's not a lot of games out there that aren't rated M just by default. If we compared the percentage of M-rated games, there would be an interesting study to actually run the numbers. The percentage of overall games that come out that are rated M and above in a year versus the percentage of movies that come out that are rated R or above in a year. I think you'll find that there's a lot more PG-13, or at least there used to be. And some of that, we've already had this right, but some of that comes down to if there was pressure to do that, maybe the industry should adopt that policy too, and avoid some of the political shenanigans in which people are making this completely unproven claim that video games are causing any kind of aggression or violent actions in children. The standard blame the media that we've seen over and over again with over many decades we've seen it's all the world's ills are always whatever the newest media is. Well, I got a victory. I wasn't really looking for a victory though. I was looking to play secrets, and I didn't have really an opportunity to play more than one. Well, whatever, let's move on. I've also been monitoring today. It seems weird, like when my videos come out and whether they get announced to me. I can only really report as far as what what is happening with me. In a weird way, if you have the YouTube gaming app installed on your phone, today I got notifications for every video through that. I didn't get notifications through YouTube proper, which that seems insane. Clearly, like, why would I get notifications in one app and not the other at the same time when I specifically have asked for and know I've set up the notifications? I don't know. However, in contrast, as soon as I started live streaming, I got a notification through the YouTube app and through the gaming app exactly at the same time, and through Gmail. So 3 different notifications when I started to stream, which is just a more confirmation that YouTube loves live streaming. That system is newer, and that might explain a little bit, but they are focusing heavily on promoting people who are live streaming over that's what they want to do. Let's see, I'll play this, and then I'll play this, and then I'll kill this guy, and in return, I'm just scrolling through my Twitter feed a second time. And then we'll start going on the news. Every time I stream, every single Hearthstone stream, I say the same thing. I say I want to not spend as much time on this stream as I have in the past. I say I would like for something else, for this to be a quick one. Same is true today, but I guess at a certain point I'm even tired of saying it. I cannot find something that would satisfy me as far as a way to speed this whole process up. The one way I could see it works would work is if I just streamed every day. If I stream every day, that means I would absolutely never get any pre-recorded footage. And if I abandon the pre-recorded footage, arguably, very arguably, I might get more views, because even on my worst days of live streaming, I'm getting 11 views, where pre-recorded footage often gets 1 or 2 views at most for the timelines I'm looking at them, but I'm not paying too much attention to them.
We have many secrets.
So, somebody here is using a hashtag content on Twitter. I'm gonna look at that hashtag. That'll be an interesting one. On Twitter too, I've also kind of stopped labeling pre-recorded videos as much as I would. I used to put all these hashtags, all these things on them, and I didn't, because my channel's so small and it's always in the potential order of just 1 or 2 views. It's really hard to tell whether anything is actually helping or whether it's just a waste of effort. A lot of my YouTube channel feels like a waste of effort as far as trying to make art, personally. Like, you've heard me say it, I'm not an artist, so if I was to try to make art from scratch, it would be a huge waste of effort. It would look pretty bad. Even my new text on the previously existing logos header bar banner thing, I just roughly did, and certainly I didn't do it the proper way. But labeling things and trying to find key phrases and trying to do search engine optimizations and just in general always trying to to chase the dragon, find a trending topic, talk about it, shill the channel. It's all kinds of annoying things that I want to do, further away from a clear artistic vision. I did see a video where I cannot understand why this person is even made this video. They're talking about another YouTuber, or actually a group of YouTubers, and saying how the group of YouTubers are all artsy and they have artistic vision and they're doing what they want, and because of that they're financially going to fail, and that they just don't sell out. An example was that one of the people decided to do a month in which they played Kirby games, which, you know, financially it's a Nintendo product, you're probably not getting any money from that at all anyways, but they're saying, well, this happened right during the time that Super Mario Odyssey came out, so why didn't you sell out and play Super Mario Odyssey? And it's like, wow, you're just backseat driving there. Like, if they want to play Kirby games, let them play Kirby games. Their channel seems to be a lot more successful than the person that was criticizing them, which is exactly the thing. Like, this person made multiple videos thinking he knew better, and I'm like, well, yeah, some of the things sound like the basic sellout things that all YouTube channels that are just there to make money would do. And they also sound like the things that make all of those YouTube channels irritating. And as I think about my YouTube channel, I'm being pushed and forced to get further and further away from my artistic vision, and more into shilling for that 1,000 subscribers to, at some point, hopefully by the end of the year, be back to being monetized, so I can stop worrying about those things, or finding some other way to do it. Speaking of that, I looked, if you go down to the bottom of Steam, it says gift cards. It seems like you can friend somebody on Steam and gift them gift cards. The problem with that is that the smallest increment in US dollars is $5. So, I mean, at the very least, that is $5 that directly goes in my pocket, not $5 minus 30%, minus 30 cents plus 10%, which you might get on like a Patreon. So I think the Steam gift card Patreon idea works better that way. So yeah, what I'm trying to say there is, if somebody wanted to support me, instead of me making a Patreon where people would donate $5 or less, and significant portions of that going towards credit card transaction fees, it would be easier for somebody to, it would be better for somebody just to gift me $5 on Steam, which $5 is a lot. Like, I try to be price conscious here. Like, when I ask people to gift me games on Steam, I'm fully under the impression that most people, if they were going to do that, are going to look at the 99-cent games that are on my wish list, the cheap games, not the $60 games.
Such big teeth I don't have enough mana to hunt alone.
Because, yeah, it's really asking a lot. I also realize that people might be going to other storefronts and getting Steam keys. And for $1, you might be getting 5 or 10 keys in a humble bundle, and you might just have extra keys. I don't know why it feels different to me, but it does. It feels a little different when you're asking somebody for a nickel to cover the cost. Like, maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, but if you were paying a bill at a restaurant or something and you were a nickel short, it wouldn't feel too bad to turn to the person to your left and say, hey, can I bum them nickel? Often the cash register themselves will say forget it because it's just not worth the time. But it feels a lot worse in that exact same scenario if I turned to the person next to me and said, hey, could I bum $1? Can I bum $5, $10? Like, at that point, it feels like you're really, really begging. Things have gotten more expensive, and $1, $10 certainly helps. None of this works as far as getting actual cash. Things that would pay for non-video game things, and at some point that's where the being monetized on YouTube was supposed to help, is the idea. The plan was to let people watch ads, that way they pay with their time, which a lot of people have a lot of time, and in the end of the day have actual cash that can actually pay for, you know, food, clothing, shelter, transportation, tires on cars, things like that. And while reducing the $300 to $600 every year I spend on games is helpful, that amount gets more difficult to reach once I have all the small games I want, which arguably may have already happened. Like, I'll cover small games, but the way I'm making content now, it's harder to justify playing a 99-cent game that's going to be chopped up into 30-minute increments. Another thing about being demonetized is I've already seen an increased amount of content ID. For a very long time, I haven't put up anything that has had any content ID matches or problems for at least a couple months. And as soon as I got kicked out of the YouTube Partner Program, it seems like there was some secret protections in that I also got removed from. And I'm seeing people content ID pack opening videos, claiming that any video of anybody opening a pack on Hearthstone is their content, their footage. I've seen another content ID claim for, so that was a Hearthstone claim, which is clearly inaccurate, and we've seen those before, but not in a while. So even in YouTube's effort to kick out small YouTube creators, the people who are part of the corrupt, lying groups that claim they own the copyright to things they don't own, still are having free reign with the content ID system. There is one good thing to say about YouTube, however, maybe, and that is a rarity. So let's see if I can find this article before. I don't think I can, actually. Well, YouTube is going to increase the way it works with the chat a little bit. So I think it's gonna have automatic translation to English pretty soon, which has been a long-running problem where people have posted in other languages on my stream and I've had to yell at them. We have a rule here that says English only. If they can automatically translate things to English, that rule can go away. Perhaps slightly more interestingly, there's going to be a replay of the chat when you're watching things rewound in the past. That's been an issue too. I've accidentally tried to comment on videos that I had rewound, so it's not live anymore and the people are talking about things that aren't even happening on the screen anymore. So that is another thing that I think that they're gonna improve, and there was a third thing, but I don't remember it. So if they're gonna fix chat, that's great. YouTube is still very much doing PR. They are retweeting people that are like, thanks, my video just got this many views, or thanks, I just got this many subscribers. They're trying to make YouTube look like it's this happy-go-lucky environment, and that they didn't just kick out a ton of people when they did. Wow. There's a lot of BS in it, but I mean, that is what they should be doing, is trying to smooth over the controversies and things. But yeah, YouTube is just not that, I don't know. I am gonna go back and check and see if my videos are still there on Twitch. If it is, since today is the 26th, and I think I uploaded some of those videos on Twitch on like the 20th of last month, then those videos have been up for about a month now, and I'm not seeing any indication that they're going to be deleted. There is this guy, I think his name is Leonard French, who is a copyright lawyer who has a YouTube channel on the side. He goes through cases, and he talked about the Phantom Lord versus Twitch case that's been filed. And he says from the claims that Phantom Lord is making in the filings that he made, it looks like he does have a case. It looks like Twitch did not terminate their contract properly. It seems like Phantom Lord had a specific and unique contract over just the general terms of service that were on Twitch in general. I think that's part of the problem, is that there's two people, two organizations fighting. One that made a general guideline in terms of services that they were applying to all people on Twitch, and then another group that was specifically making contracts and trying to bring over big streamers. There is also a YouTube lawsuit happening for the ambiguousness and the weirdness and the half enforcement of rules that are done on YouTube. And YouTube's response to that has been that they feel like they can do whatever they want. And I'd like to see it go to court. And, like, I honestly think I might get a penny or two in some class action suit against YouTube in a few years, because of just how poorly YouTubers run things and how monopolistic they've acted, and anti-content creator they've acted. But all of this is a big rant right now. Nobody's on the chat or anything, so I guess starting with a big rant is fine. That's kind of where life has taken me this week. Is just one, being frustrated with playing Resident Evil, no, not Resident Evil, but Assassin's Creed Revelations, and then being frustrated that I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Revelations because I find the game boring, and it's been really hard. Like, nearly half of every episode I've played of Revelations has started Assassin's Creed Revelations, that is, because there is a Resident Evil Revelations too. Nearly every game has started with it's been hard to get back to this game, because it just really has. On the good news, my Lego collection is getting nicer. I rearranged some furniture, pulled out this table that I have. It's a very, very long table. It's designed to serve maybe 18 people around this table, and the way it does it is adjustable and can go. It's designed to be on the back side of a wall and then pull out the longest length of a room. So in theory it might be just slightly less than 10 feet long, and 10 feet, 9 people on either side, 1 person at the end, maybe. Like you've got a very long table there, and I don't have it fully extended to the full length, but I have it kind of on the short side of the room that's in. And so I'm moving Legos around, I'm trying to organize them, I'm putting all the sets together. I have a lot of Christmas Village sets, so I'm trying to make one side of the table the North Pole Village. I have a lot of expert module building sets, which I'm trying to put that on one side of the table too, or on the back side. And then I have a lot of minifigures and Advent calendar Christmas sets, and so I'm trying to move the minifigures around and have them squeeze into the big sets. Big modular buildings tend to come with at least 3, if not as many as 8 characters, but they're big enough that you can add a street in front of them, and you can add people walking on that street. You could add 2 or 3 extra people. To every set, and that's the general idea, is to do layout and build an entire city, kind of like a train set city, except for it's Lego this time instead. Although there is a Lego Christmas train too in the set that's I'm setting up. And I had all of those kind of just individually in piles up until this point. And instead of playing Assassin's Creed Revelations, I opted to continue working on that, which proves itself to be another distraction. But we really need to talk about news. Like, I've really ranted about random things here. Apparently the PAX producer has ReedPop has acquired Gamer Network. ReedPop, the producer behind the Penny Arcade Expo family of video game events, has branched its event-focused business out into the editorial with the acquisition of Eurogamer parent company Gamer Network. The terms of the purchase were not disclosed, but in the endpoint sees ReedPop gain ownership of Gamer Network's many properties, including Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, GameIndustry.biz, VG247. I didn't know VG247 was under that parent company, but in all honesty, all of these people are owned by the same few parent companies. Outside Xbox, again, didn't know Outside Xbox was listed. Digital Foundry and US Gamer. Digital Foundry is probably the most prestigious of these brands because they're the ones that mostly focus on doing new content, where Eurogamer and I assume US Gamer is not anywhere as popular as Eurogamer, because I've heard of Eurogamer, I haven't heard of US Gamer. Eurogamer seems to sometimes get some scoops, whereas Rock Paper Shotgun GameIndustry.biz, Outside Xbox, and US Gamer are all companies that kind of are just repeaters. And oh, by the way, they're all the exact same company. It's all just monopoly. And this is kind of the thing with newspapers in general, is that in the United States at least, there used to be laws against owning too many newspapers, but now you can kind of have an oligarchy of 3 or 4 companies that own all the newspaper outlets. Fox, for instance, for the most part, Fox News owns all the Fox TV channels, owns all the local Fox TV news affiliates, so they get the exact same stories, and often word for word will say the exact same lines of dialogue because they're just handed scripts from a parent company to say. And it's not just Fox News that does that, it's pretty much all the newspapers and news reporters and TV stations. The acquisition also sees ReedPop and add EGX and EGX Res to its catalog of events, as well as expos alongside the company's existing shows like PAX and New York Comic Con. I didn't know PAX and New York Comic Con were the same company. Wow, we're learning all kinds of collusion stuff. In a press release, ReedPop noted that all staff will remain with the company as the brands change hands. As far as leadership changes goes, Gamer Network co-founder Rupert Lohman is remaining with the company to focus on ReedPop's global game strategy and expansion, with CEO Simon Maxwell takes on the role. While COO Simon Maxwell takes on the role of Gamer Network Managing Director and Vice President of ReedPop UK. So, clearly now, you've seen the field tighten with less competition for actual contradictory ideas and thoughts. The actual video game industry here is only slightly affected because now when they want to do one of their effective bribes of paying somebody to paying a news reporting company to report on a game, which they do all the time. And honestly, if any of these video game reporting companies had any ethics, they would not be advertising games at all. They'd be advertising services that they're not reporting on, completely unrelated things, like razors, alcohol, you know, magazines, things they're not reporting, music, things like that, instead of video games. But now when a company does want to bribe a reporting people to give them nice reviews and to give them to get them to write more articles than they should, that's going to be probably a little bit more expensive for PAX goers. Games have certainly been announced at PAX, although to be slightly fair, I'm not sure if too many games these days are getting announced at PAX, and for a while it was happening, but now it isn't. I don't know why you'd want to go to PAX as a game creator. Maybe it's some advertisement opportunities, but as a video game fan, I still feel like doing any of these things that just require you to leave the house and stop playing video games is contradictory to your video game hobby. So if you're going to leave the house and do something different, why don't you leave the house and do something really different? The idea that you're going to meet up with all your friends or make new friends there, and this is going to in some way be a good social experience. I just don't agree with that. And I don't think you need packs. If you have a group of friends and you want to go hang out with them, you can do that cheaper and easier without going to packs. If you want to make new friends, I don't think you're going to do it at a convention like that. So I don't know what it's for. I don't know. I'm not the most sociable person. As for what are any of these websites change anything? Probably not. Not at least for a long time. They'll probably continue doing the things they were already doing, which is secretly promoting things, writing too many articles, trying to keep the outlook always positive, not being too critical. None of these websites, to my knowledge, have really gone out of their way to pull a Jim Sterling and just beat a dead horse about microtransactions or the bad things that are happening in the industry. They do talk about it, certainly. Half of these websites are main sources of news for me, which in general I only use them as main sources of news because they're not too annoying and they just are saying the same thing as everybody else. This is a Gamasutra article, and Gamasutra is not one of the companies listed here. Let's see. And comments. How do comments work on this website? I guess they don't. Just clicked on the comments and nothing happened. I wonder if Hearthstone is having some network problems. Let's see. Well, let's move on from that article. Western Digital has launched some NVMe, non-volatile memory SSDs for Internet of Things and fast data applications. These are in the M2 standard of connectors. So they're sticks of memory, M2 or SATA. What this mostly means, if I can just sum it up from what they're announcing, is they're just making more flash memory SSDs with the new connector, which means there'll be more competition and those prices will hopefully go down. Let's see. PC Gamer has a review for Metal Gear Survive at 59, which that is an incredibly low score for our game. Metal Gear Survive is garbage. $10 extra if you want a second save spot or any additional save spots per additional save spot, I believe. Just terrible grind, terrible betrayal on what the Metal Gear series is by adding zombies, not doing anything new, not doing anything innovative, just not playing well at all from what I've seen. And I'm not directly even quoting PC Gamer's review here, I'm just mentioning their review and the other reviews I've seen of it. But nobody really expected too much from Metal Gear Survive anyways. Let's see. PC Gamer says, has flickers of brilliance but is painfully slow and grueling survival simulation routinely snuffs them out. The game constantly is nagging you about getting clean air, clean water, food, stamina, all of those terrible life bars in the survival game that nobody really wants to deal with or have in a game. Yeah, I'm not playing right. Let's see. The game Ghost of a Tale, the RPG about a minstrel mouse, gets a date and new screens. This is one of the 3 mice games or rat games that are coming out this year. Let's see. It's coming out on March 13th on PC, with the Xbox One and PS4 versions to follow. One of the mice games is a PSVR game, and so that one won't be played by me. This one actually, Ghost of the Tale, actually looks pretty good. Though, so when I look at it and see that it looks like a cutesy fantasy RPG game that we could really use. They don't all have to be mice, but much in the same way that almost every game is realistic in first-person shooters with military people. It's like we can have other games with other types of characters. It's almost like people have forgotten that you can be creative and artistic and do something different. So, so the I'm keeping an eye on this one. In fact, I'm not even sure if there's a Steam link for it yet. As for what the third game is, it looks very similar to Ghost of the Tale, and there might actually not be a third game. In all honesty, I may just have confused things. Valkyrie Chronicles 4 has a PS4 demo that launches February 26th in Japan. That's just a basic story. Wow, nice. We can just have a basic story. And that's job listing. Apparently the new Gundam Breaker is coming to PC. This is the Gundam game where you play as a Gundam garage kit. So a garage kit is a model kit where you you build it from pieces, and then it's a toy. It's a building toy, and it's also a figurine that you put on your shelf, and sometimes you paint them too, or you need to paint them a lot of times. And so it's a real Japanese type thing that didn't ever really come over there. But then Gundam garage kits and model kits are very, very popular, so that's why you'd make a game like this. But then you're just playing as these little toys that are fighting each other, and in the screenshot I'm seeing, you're fighting each other in a store that sells other garage kits, which, if there is a building aspect to the game, where you paint and customize, that is it. This reset era stuff, I think I may have to start following him. Despite controversy around them, sort of, or them creating a reset era coming out from a controversy, they found that the Brazilian Advisory Rating Board, which this really doesn't prove much of anything, rated it for PC. Yeah, here, PC Gamer is saying it's like anime Lego, which it's not really Lego, but it's a toy, and Gundam is an anime, so I guess you kind of have that. So maybe there's something I can do on Reset Era to get some news out of it. The thing about Reset Era is if any news is actually coming out of it, it's probably like not very well vetted news, or it's coming from developers directly, because I imagine some developers are on Reset Era. Let's see. Eurogamer has an article, Fear the Wolves turn Stalker into PUBG, spectators into weather gods. So, a game somewhat like Stalker, but then spectators can affect the thing. This is one of those advertisements hidden as a article. I mean, it is a half article. They are slightly talking about the game, but there's nothing, in my opinion, substantive here. There's no price. There is no release date. It is just the beginnings and attempts to build a hype train, and it's from Eurogamer. Who would have guessed? Let's see. This doesn't have anything to do with anything. The new hero, Overwatch hero teaser points towards a melee hero that may be Torbjorn's daughter. If you know who Torbjorn is, that probably means a little bit more. The idea of everything being all in the family. Wow, wait time of 4 minutes. And just characters that are related to other characters. Both kind of might be a good idea to have stories and characters who interact with each other and have real reasons to fight each other versus just random people. But at a certain point, some random people also need to be added. I don't know. The thing about Overwatch is, the thing that would get me to play Overwatch is if they made a spin-off Borderlands-esque single-player experience to it. That would get me to play it. If there was play the story that we've been talking about, play the prequel where there's like some kind of big war and people took sides. Know the reason for everything that's going on. I'd enjoy that. I'd also enjoy that if it was just a movie or cartoon or something. But that might very well be the only part of Overwatch I enjoy. I still don't want to play with random people online.
Your soul shall be mine.
Particularly in the competitive first-person shooter game. Apparently, the daughter is named Bridget Lindholm. She was first shown in the Honor and Glory animated short. I would argue, just to save money, they probably would only animate somebody in those animated shorts if they were planning on using that animated skin for something else. Whether that was, it's just a skin of an already existing character or something else. In a weird way, one of the landmines that, well, while right now video games are getting blamed for causing violence, the previous argument that generally stays around is video games are contributing to the over sexualization of the youth, or however you want to describe it. And Overwatch has already had that twice. There's a ton of cosplayers as Tracer. There's tons of cosplayers as the gamer girl in the robot. I don't know her name. And there's not so many people as Mercy, who was added later. And so they kind of have to make sure not to animate any babes into the game at all. arguably they probably could get away with animating a hunk or two into the game and nobody would really complain. But the cosplayers, the naughty cosplayers out there are having a field day with Overwatch, and I'm pretty sure Activision Blizzard would like that to stop. I'm certain of it because they've tried to do cease and desists and things. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. Bandai Namco has outlined the plans to address Dragon Ball FighterZ online issue. I heard some people saying that the fact that there was a mass drop-off of Dragon Ball FighterZ after the first couple of weeks is not as big of an issue as it is because the numbers are still very high. I think that's fair, maybe a little fair to say that. Maybe not completely accurate, however. We're definitely having some network problems, and they are working to my victory. So I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Maybe we could get done a little bit faster today. Let's see. So Capcom, Bandai Namco is ones that made Dragon Ball FighterZ. Say they're fully aware of the online issues that you're having, such as matching in the ring system and being disconnected from the lobby. We're aware of the situation and keen to resolve them with all our might. Translated from Japanese. Please bear in mind that this first patch might not fix everything.
You asked for it.
So they're going to continue to work on the game and keep it and try to improve things with the connection issues. I kind of believe them. Dragon Ball FighterZ is the biggest success for a Dragon Ball game in a long time, and if they could get more of the Western audience to learn to love and expect every Dragon Ball FighterZ game in a continuing series to be high quality, well supported, and something people actually want to play, they could chip away at things like Soul Calibur or Tekken or Street Fighter even. And they could not only chip away, they might bring in a new audience. Let's see. Four damage randomly split amongst all enemies. Let's see if this works. Nope. Did not work at all. We already talked about that. The game Love Plus Every has been delayed to an unannounced release window in Japan. Delayed for further quality improvements. Love Plus Every will be available for iOS and Android devices in Japan. This is a Konami game. It was probably just going to be a match tile microtransaction type game. Let's see, what is it? It's kind of like a dating simulator on your mobile phone, and that would be very interesting to introduce the concept of a romance dating simulator on your cell phone, because then you would carry it around with you and play small daily increments and interactions. Let's see. Like, I keep clicking back and back for further news on this game just to see how you'd actually play this, and there's like 3 different girls it seems like you'd be dating in a daily way.
Spells are fun, so fun.
But while I see a row of buttons, it feels like it'd be kind of like the equivalent of playing a Tamagotchi game.
Back to your homes.
I may only make 2 recordings today because I'm going late right now and I need to break up the recording after this. But also there's a website called whatsonsteam.com that PC Gamer is using to find out what games are new. Them Fighting Herds, the what is it? The My Little Pony fighting simulator that they took the My Little Pony element out and was Kickstarter backed. So now it's just pony fighting simulator game, which actually looks interesting and something that I would like to cover just for the funniness of it. But also it looks like a pretty well polished game. It even has like a story mode and some challenge modes and all kinds of things. That's out. We'd already talked about that game though. There's a game called Bite Path that doesn't look that interesting. It looks like something like the evolution of an Asteroids game without realizing the problems with the Asteroids game. There seems to be a lot more functions in it. So if you really, really loved Asteroids, Bite Path might be a game for you. What in the world just happened? Tragic Master. He just came on. Let's see. Tragic Master in before video breaking. I hope you can fix it. Fix it after you break it. What's broken, Tragic Master? Like, is the video chopping up, or is something else happening? Let's see. Let's bring up OBS and just see if we can. Where are you, OBS? Like, a lot of ways fixing things is not actually possible on YouTube. You said you were going to break up the video. Oh yes. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, do the usual wrap up and then after this game and then continue live streaming. Breaking up the video just means that I'm going to do the usual shill, selling people, asking them to like and subscribe and things, and then I'll start another thing so that the pre-recorded videos have those elements. When I re-release this content several months later as Hearthstone episode 1100 or whatever, we're about to approach the 1000th episode of Hearthstone, and the only reason I'm kind of doing that anymore is just because I'd like to have one series that there's just a number that goes up and up and up. That way, if I ever need to put on my resume that I had a video series as a YouTube content creator that had over 5,000 episodes, I can say that legitimately. It's really just a number manipulation as a metric to put on a resume, which that's what people like to see on resume. Not that being a YouTube content creator is going to get you any work anyways. It's probably just going to get you laughed out of the building if you put that on the resume. at any point. Honestly, even if PewDiePie went to try to get a job and he said he was a YouTube content creator and people didn't know he was PewDiePie, they'd probably laugh at that. But nobody respects artists of any kind. There's a game called Cleaner Heights that looks like it's a Harvest Moon ripoff. Orwell or Ignorance of Science came out. Vagnet, V-A-G-A-N-T-E, is in early access on Steam. Yeah, I usually don't report on the PC Gamers 5 games that are new to you this week, because they're all games that PC Gamer has already talked about, and that's that. So I only need 2 more wins on the Asian account, and then we can move on over to the European accounts. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. I actually did try to figure out why my Twitter double posts comments on when videos come out. I can't find out why. I cannot figure it out. It shouldn't be doing that, but either YouTube is posting it twice, or Twitter is taking it from YouTube and YouTube is posting it, or Twitter is posting it twice. I couldn't figure it out. So apologies if you're getting the same comment back to back when following me on Twitter. I'll try to figure that out more. If you want to support my channel, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game for cheap, or if you just don't want to make that decision at all, you can scroll down to the bottom of Steam and click gift cards and gift me an entire gift card. That will work too, $5 being the minimum there. The problem with gifting gift cards more than anything else is you have to write a note with it. So if you just want to put a bunch of garbage in the first name and description and signature stuff, that's fine with me. Or if you want to actually give me a heartfelt note, that would be appreciated too. However, I don't know how many people I'm really going to convince to even donate $5. If I had some really rich Patreons that wanted to give me $5 every month that way, that would be great. Theoretically, if I had 12 people that were donating $5 every month, that's one $60 game every month, one brand new game. That drastically changes how my content's created, and a lot less retrospectives would be played, and a lot more modern games would be played. So that is something that would work. Heck, if I even had one person who was just donating the $50 gift card to me, I could probably play a new game in almost every month where there is a new game to play, because let's be honest, there are some months where no new game comes out. Anyways, that's way too long of a wrap up, and ever since I changed my wrap up to include donate a game on Steam as the new monetization policy, I've had troubles integrating it and getting it into a smooth wrap up. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.